Hello, hi, my name is Stefan Kalowski and I'm here today to explain the use of a target dop that's made by R&D Consultants. It's a very unique dop in that the dop itself has colored rings and they cross target in black lines that go across and above and diagonally to help you locate the stone center when doing repairs or doing recutting of a stone. Let me show you what I'm referring to. Okay, so here's R&D Consultants' new target dop. And you see it's basically it's a dop that's made specifically with target rings on it. And if we take a closer look at it, we can see that there are colored rings and then there you have your cross lines. The colored rings are to help you identify the circles. So it's as opposed to some of the other target dops that are out there, maybe all one color. This makes it easier to place the stone directly in the center of the target. Now, as you can see here, I have a number of things I have laid out. There's my transfer block, which has two sliding sides with some stones that need recutting and a piece of rough, a couple of dops to show you what to work with, and I have a couple of cone dops here that have clay in them to help hold the stone. Well, let me show you how we use this setup and how you do the different ways of mounting a stone. You may have a stone that needs to be repaired on the top of the stone. Maybe a client of yours has scratched their stone or badly abraded the stone and only the top needs to be done. That's the easiest centering process to do since you're only going to be mounting to the back of the stone, and I'll show you how that's done. Okay, for this demonstration I picked the stone that I have. It's a citrine oval that has a nasty chip on the back. I don't know if we can see that. Yeah, you can see there it is. And what you're going to do is you're going to place this dead center on the target dop, and you use those colored rings to center the stone and also the cross hatches to locate that center. Once that center is located, you take another dop. In this case, I have a big cup dop, and you place clay in it. Now the idea here is to get the stone dead center on the target dop, and once you have it exactly centered the way you want it to be, then you slide the clay filled cup dop against that stone and then bed it into the clay. Then you slide it away, and then you're going to switch out the dop to do a mounting, and I'll show you how that's done. Okay, as you can see here, here's that citrine with the chip in the top part there on the bottom of the stone, and how I've located it so that the green rings, which are near the tip, as you can see here, which is these rings right there, is the same as this ring up in here, and then there's a red ring which matches the other ring. Now if you're not quite dead center, and in this case I think it's just the camera's position, but it is in center. So what I'm going to do next is slide the other half of my transfer fixture that has the clay dop in it and embed the stone into the clay so it's dead center in that dop. Okay, here you see where I've taken that big cup dop with the clay in it and pushed it against the stone, which is still centered on the target dop. It's really unique. Oh, by the way, all those ink lines are anodized into the metal, so they will not rub off with any alcohol or acetone. They're permanently part of the fixture. Anyhow, now that I've done this, the next step is to actually take the sliding half and slide back the stone without touching it, so I don't move the stone. And I'm going to use a hybrid method of mounting the stone table side to a flat dop that has has wax on it, where I will actually glue it with super glue. Okay, before I go and do that next operation, I pushed down on that sliding half with the clay in it and made sure that my stone was very well embedded in the clay so as not to cause any trouble later when I go to switch the sides. Okay, so as you can see here, now the stone has been pushed well into the clay after I used the target dop to center the stone properly, and the next step is to create a wax flat dop to a regular dop, and I will actually assemble the two using super glue. Here you see the components that are needed to do this mounting of this damaged stone. I'm going to be mounting that stone table to a new dop. As you can see, the brass dop right next to the target dop right here is going to be used with a little bit of, this is high temperature diamond setter cement or dop wax, and a butane torch. And what I'm going to do is, with a piece of leather that I use, as you can see here, I'm going to heat up that dop, holding that dop with the leather, using the butane torch and melting some wax onto that. Then I'll mount that into the right hand side of the fixture, and the next step would be to slide it in, make contact with that flat dop to form a flat, which will be the mounting surface for the stone. And we do not use heat on the stone ever. We just simply use super glue. So super glue is your bonding agent. Okay, as you can see here, I already melted the wax onto the dop stick and placed it into the opposite side of the transfer fixture. And by the way, this is how I mount all of my stones for fastening from rough, not just stones that have been used on the target dop. So now what I'll do is I'll come over with the torch and I'll warm up the wax again, loosen up the clamp, and just kind of get it so it starts flowing, and then put a little heat on it, get it to go down, get some melting going, and then push it down onto the flat part of that cool aluminum dop. Now what that'll do is it'll just make a nice flat, and as you can see, we'll flip it around here, and now I can pull this away, and there you go. See, a nice flat mounting surface. So what I'm going to do now is take out this piece, put the stone that has been mounted using this, and I'll just pre-fit it so that I know that it's going to mount. So we look at it that way. Yes, it's going to mount. And the next step is to clean the stone surface off of any oils or fingerprints with a little alcohol or acetone, and then put a drop of super glue on the wax side, and then push it together, which I will show you next. Okay, here as you can see, I flipped it around so that I could add a little bit of super glue. And what I'm going to do is just squeeze out one drop of super glue and release the clamp here, and then just flip it completely around and push it down lightly so it makes contact, then tighten it and let the super glue set. And that's it. That's mounting in the stone. It's all been centered. You can put it in the machine. Just line it up to what you want to do and start fastening the bottom of that stone. Okay, now since we use this beautiful little targeting dop, which gives you the color rings, anodized colored rings that will not rub off, I was able to mount this stone for repair, and now I can take it out, and as you can see, it's mounted perfectly in the inside. Now all these little bits of wax that's sticking up, that's no big deal. You can either trim it off or just leave it. But the idea is now I can take this stone, which has this damaged corner, see where is it, right there, and mount it in the machine and refacet this. And then I could transfer the stone over in the normal way, which I also use glue and wax, and cut the top. Now you ask, what if you don't have to cut the bottom of the stone, but you need to cut the top of the stone? Well, you actually have to do a mounting and a transfer operation, two-step. Basically, you mount this stone first, just like this, like I showed you, to get it centered on that target dop. After it's been mounted to this, you do an actual transfer. So that's the next step. I'll show you how that's done. So we're not going to cut the bottom of this, but we're going to repair the top of this. So this is the steps that you have to go for that. Okay, so what I've done here is I've taken a V-dop and I've put some of that high temperature dop wax in it and let it cool, and remounted it into the fixture, my transfer fixture. And now I finished cleaning off the citrine that I was working on, or going to work on, to make sure there's no oils or anything in between it. And what I'll do now is I'll take my butane torch and heat it up until I get the wax going. It's a little soft. Now it doesn't have to be flowing, it just needs to be softened. So we'll just take that to a little bit more and see what happens here, and we'll get that going. So that's soft now, and then I'll do is I'll heat the wax on the bottom of it so that's really flowing, and then I'll push that stone right together there using my fingers to wrap that around there, switch this around this way, and then I want to pull it apart. See, like that. Just make sure I got it nice there, and it leaves a nice impression in that wax. And I'll show you what's next. Okay, as you can see here, now that I've pulled the stone away from the warmed wax, it left a very nice impression in the wax of the facets that were there. And so I'm going to take my super glue and just put a drop of super glue in there. That's fine, that's plenty. Release the side, slide it down, press in there, tighten it, and now there we go. It's mounted. So we'll let that set for a few moments, and I'll be right back. Okay, now that I've let that glue set on the pavilion side, you leave this side loose, whatever kind of transfer fixture you have. Hopefully you have one that you can slide, and I've moved it back so that more of this top is exposed. So now what I'll do is I'll take my butane torch, heat up this side, and while that side is heating up, I'll be pulling on this side. Well, make sure it clamps down. And once it softens, I'm pulling on it. You will see it separates. See, so no heat is transferred to the stone. The stone has been transferred over. Now I can work on the top after I clean the wax off and then wipe it down with a little acetone to remove any excess glue. That's my normal mounting and transferring operations, from mounting a stone to cut the bottom and then transferring the stone over to cut the top. Now, like I said in the beginning here, if this was a stone that had a damage on the top, you actually have to do a double mount. You mount first to the table so that you can transfer it to a cup top to cut the top. Alright, so that's it. Now this all could not have been done without the assistance of this wonderful target top. I mean, this R&D Consultants target top, in which you can see, there's our address and the phone number at least, and there you go. So I mean, this has been extremely useful for doing repairs on already cut stones and also on rough that needed to be mounted. And also I got to show you my hybrid method of mounting stones, in which I use wax and super glue on everything. So I use wax as the mount in between the glue that actually attaches the stone to the dot and makes everything easy to separate. Have a great day now.